Hey there, Super Llama here. Today I'm going to try and pick this lock made by Pickme1977. Got a little bit of a hang up, but not too bad. There is the bitting. Keyway is relatively wide open. Let's see here. That's about the thickest tension wrench I've got, so that's going to have to do. And looks like that'll fit a DeForce diamond no problem. Oh, okay. Wow, getting a lot of movement out of this. I think I might have overset something there. Oh, okay, and we're open. I think that was on 3 or 4. That was actually a really fun lock to pick. Some locks are better for picking in terms of difficulty, and some are just more fun in terms of the way they react when you pick them. Both sides of the coin are good, and it's nice that we have more locks out there that are rather fun to pick and rather than being difficult. I personally err on the side of difficulty because it's funny to watch people struggle, in my sense anyway. But of course, it's good to have an even playing field. I'll probably have to shim that. I think I felt a T-pin in there. You can see why there is that lip right there that the C-clip falls into. And the fact that the core is so floppy tells me that there's probably a T-pin in there. But the rest of the plug looks like it's the normal size, so it looks like this will work just fine here. Yep. Okay, key. Shim. Okay, so there are all the key pins. If you would focus here, there we go. Oh, threading. Didn't really feel any threading in there, to be honest. 2, 3, 5 are threaded. Not seeing any undercuts. Nope, still not seeing undercuts in there. And where did I put my tweezers this time? There. Yep, definitely a T-pin in one there. Copper spring. Looks like a serrated in 2. Copper spring. Looks like a serrated spool in 3. Copper spring. very short T-pin, looks like. Possibly upside down mushroom. Copper spring. This is a, very, very thin spool, and I found it like this. So the bottom is what would be touching the key pin on 5, and that one copper spring. Doesn't look like there's a way to modify the top here. I'm just going to look off camera here. I'm not seeing anything. I'm not feeling anything either. So I'm going to say it's all standard up top. And the fact that there is no real way of doing that, that would support my theory. Okay. You are in like that, like that. Yeah, okay. So here we have all of our pinning. We've got a torpedo-like key pin with a T-pin, a serrated key pin with a very short spool, but there's also a serration right there. We've got a serrated key pin with a serrated spool. There's even a serration in the middle of the spool there. We have another torpedo-looking key pin with an upside-down mushroom. I found it just like that. A serrated key pin with a very thin spool, and of course the copper springs all on top. Just give me a couple minutes here while I get this next section set up. I can see why that mushroom was upside down there. So this is the pinning. Focus. Please. Thank you. So, T-pin, that's as far as it goes. You've got your serrated, I think it was. Is this just the spool? It's the serrated with the spool in there. All of that comes into play, and this is the full-on serrated spool. Aside from that top section there, all of that comes into play. This upside-down mushroom pretty well just acts as, I guess, anti-flop, but still flops around a lot because it's not the perfect size. And then this spool here, very, very thin, and pretty well all of that comes into play, as well as it should be grabbing into those threads. And again, I didn't feel any grabbing in the threads. In fact, I'm going to look and see if those threads rolled over, because what will happen over time is as people pick these locks, or I guess this lock in particular, you will see that the threads inside will they'll fold, so they lose their edge, essentially, is what happens. And after some time, you actually have to take a thread and retap it. It does kind of look like these threads rolled over a little bit. I don't know if you can see it very well, but you can see that it's more of a rounded edge as opposed to actual sharp blade edge, I guess you could say, but as it spirals along. But yeah, it's actually folded over. If Pickme, if you're watching this, if you'd like me to try and run my tap through it again to see if I can sharpen up that edge for you, no problem. Let me know. Everyone else, thank you for watching.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face, tell me that you love me, even if it's fake.